Good morning. Today we're going to continue our sessions with the second stage of our stage strip. And in the video you'll notice that it's not me doing the actual pulling of the hair, but the incomparable Eric Salas. We're very happy to have our guest groomer today, so we will be joined by Mr. Salas in just one moment. One of the things we want to do is to put a second stage strip on the dog, which starts up here at the back of the head and goes at a V down along the back of the shoulder blade and down through the chest, and then all of the body, top line, and then down the leg, leaving the furnishings in place down the leg like that, and the front of the tail. So that's what we're going to do right now. Talk about how you hold the skin in a taut position.
In grabbing this hair here, if you keep the skin, holding the skin in front of where you're pulling nice and tight, then the hair comes out and doesn't have that spring to it, so it pulls out a lot easier. And what I'm using right now is the metal stone, because it really grabs the hair really nice, and on an Irish Terrier with a coat this long, it comes out really super simple. I mean, it's just coming out in chunks. So it takes no time whatsoever to pull this hair out where it needs to be. Now, you know, where you want to start from, everybody has their own little different opinion. A lot of times, if I'm going to pull a dog all the way down, most of the time I'll start from the head, work my way back. If I was going to pull a dog, or actually just doing a little bit of grooming and not stripping it all the way down, I'd probably work from my rear forward. But all we're doing here is just removing this hair in that pattern that Dan was talking about. Yeah, I remember coming over here and it's like Dan says, okay, see all those? Take all their hair off.
Nobody teaches as good as experience.
That's right.
So today we're going to be using a variety of knives, but I wanted to take just a minute and explain to you the differences in these knives. First, you have the extra fine. This is very good for pulling hair where the hair is short and you're trying to get close to the skin.
Trying to.
The depth of the teeth allow you to get closer or further away from the skin. When you have a deep tooth knife like this, obviously this is going to grab a lot more hair at a time. So when you're stripping a dog and you're wanting to not take a long time doing it, just whip right through it, you're going to want to go with this deep tooth. And then you're going to want to go with a little lesser depth in tooth when you're trying to finish up or clean up the dog. And you have a variety of one, like this is a extra fine, this one is a fine, this one is a medium, and then this one is a coarse. And then the diamond metal stone is really good for cleaning up around the edges, getting very close into places, and also knocking off any hair that's just kind of sticking up that you want to knock off. So that's the tools we're going to be using.
Okay, so what we're doing here then is, let's say we wanted to get this dog in just absolute perfect condition, we would make a small V section where we want the hair to be the longest. So, and in this case here, where you want that beautiful arch on the neck, you would do a smaller V and then come in here. Wherever you want your hair to appear the longest, or that portion of the dog to appear the fullest, that's what you're going to pull out first. So then when it all grows in at the same time, when this dog is ready to show, everything is lined up nice and smooth, like a jacket that's custom built for this dog.
I usually go and I feel just like you did for that shoulder blade, and then I'll make a line right down that shoulder blade, right down to the chest, and then I work back from there. So, Mr. Salas, how do you relate an Irish Terrier grooming to, say, a Wire Fox Terrier or an Airedale, or what are the differences and what are the similarities?
Well, as far as wire goes, you can use a lot of the same techniques, but your overall thing that you want to accomplish is that on an Irish, you want them to appear longer. With a wire, you want them to appear shorter. So in that, we're going to take this way up into the tuck up here and come right in front of the rear leg. So we make this appear like it's much longer. Whereas a wire, we're going to take this and we're going to roll this into the body here to make it appear shorter. Now, a couple of things that you can do here as far as differences on the way the dogs are built, depending on how you're pulling the coat here, is if you want the rib cage to appear like it's longer, or in here we've got, I mean, look at how beautiful short loin this dog is right here, and how much rib cage we have. I mean, that is just outstanding. But let's say we had a dog that we needed a little bit more loin on. If we needed a little bit more loin, then we could go ahead and pull this back to here and create a shorter rib cage. And here, if we needed a little bit shorter loin, we just pull this back a little bit further here, create more of a rib cage in here, and then we have a shorter loin dog.
So you think that handlers that show Wire Fox Terriers would trim an Irish Terrier incorrectly?
I think that a lot of times when you look at a dog, like let's say you're looking at an Irish Terrier, and it's not an Irish Terrier person that really truly knows the breed, but their foundation skills are more of, let's say, somebody who handles a lot of Wire Fox Terriers, they may have a tendency to trim the dog, and it looks great to the general public, but it's not meeting the standards of that breed. And therefore what happens is you have a dog like, let's take a Wire Fox Terrier, because it's very, very similar there as far as the way people trim, and they think that while there's no difference in the way you do this dog as opposed to the other dog. On a Wire Fox Terrier, you see a lot of these dogs that have these extreme lines that are coming up over the withers right here. Now that extreme line, what that's going to do is we'll have the head here, a lot of hair up over the withers, and then we come right back to where the back is. Now if we have an angle of hair that goes like this, that makes this dog look, it has no back, I mean short back, completely short back. So if you have somebody who trims a lot of Wire Fox Terriers and they think that looks really nice to leave all this hair here and then come back all the way back over here to where your hips are at, that will look fantastic. But is it correct? No. Or in the situations where they're trying to shorten this dog up, because they're used to doing that with a wire, they may have a situation where they have a chest that's 50% chest, 50% loin. And what they may be trying to do there is they may be trying to actually lengthen the dog. But there's only so much you can do. And by doing that, you have something that's incorrect. Because an Irish Terrier should have a large area of chest, and this should be shorter right here. Not 50.
You mean long in the
rib chest, in the rib cage right here. So this area should be nice and full, so they can get lots of oxygen as they're running. They're running longer periods of times. It's not short bursts of energy like a wire when they're going after a rat in a small contained area. And here, so they need all that oxygen. So if you have an Irish Terrier that has a short rib cage, how is that dog going to breathe? I mean, it's nice if you stick it inside a little barn and have it chase mice all day long, but it's not going to be able to function and do what it was built to do. So, that.
The long rib cage on an Irish Terrier also is meant to provide protection for the internal organs by them all being tucked inside the rib cage. And when you have an Irish Terrier that is of proper length but also has too long of loin, you get a soft, bouncy top line.
Yeah, you see that a lot.
Because the muscles that span that loin area aren't capable of supporting all that.
I have a lot of people that usually ask me, well, how much hair do you grab when you're stripping all the way down? And it's like, well, I try to grab like little tiny sections. Obviously you want to get done as fast as possible, but if the dog keeps turning around and looking at you, you're probably grabbing too big of clumps, because he's saying, okay, this is a warning. So here it's just slow and steady wins the race.
Well, that certainly qualifies you.
Yeah, and you wonder why I keep showing up.
Well, I always have, yeah. Don't pitch a softball. Don't expect me to take a swing at it.
So, the key to finding a good mentor is no matter how bad he verbally abuses you, you keep coming back. That's a sign that you have a good mentor.
And truthfully, as far as being a mentor, I sort of put people to a test. You know, if you're not willing to hang in there and do the things you need to, I don't want to waste my time.
I agree. I totally agree with that.